Hey guys, Jason here. Well, the bees are doing good. Thought I'd give you a little update, show you what's going on with them, and where they're at. This one's, I think, is going to be fine this winter. Got lots of activity, got plenty of stores. That top deep is full of honey. The next to the top honey super is full, and they've got that top honey super just about half full. That ought to be plenty of stores for the winter. Still going to put a ventilated top on it and probably fill that with hay, but the yellow hive is doing really well. So let's walk down the hill and look at the others. This little guy here, I lovingly call it the red hive. Of course, it's little tape's pretty well faded, but it's doing good. It was one of the latest splits that I did, one of the last splits I did. I bought a queen for this one, and she's turned out real well. Lots of brood in that bottom box, in that bottom deep hive body, and the top deep hive body's got about 80% full of honey. So I'm really optimistic about this guy. It's I'm pretty confident it's going to do good. I'm going to put a top feeder on it as well, and if I have to, I can throw sugar in there for the during the winter time. You don't want to use sugar water during the winter time because that will introduce too much moisture into the hive, and if it gets cold in there and there's too much dampness, they'll get hypothermia and they'll die out. A lot of people in my area last winter, it was real damp, and a lot of people used interior feeders with the sugar water, and that wound up not being a good idea. I feel like I kind of think that extra moisture may have contributed to our mass die out here in the south last winter, because we had several little serious cold snaps with that polar vortex. You know, the polar vortex. But anyway, there's a red hive. I think it's going to do fine. Let's walk on down the hill to the others. This little guy here is my weakest hive. I call it the slate hive, or gray. It's I'm very hopefully optimistic about it as well. It's doing good. It's got a good laying queen in it. It was also a really late split. I did about, I don't know, mid to late summer. I can't remember exactly when I did it, but it's got about 70% honey up in that top box, that top brood box, and queen's laying pretty well. There's a lot of bees in that box for there not to be a whole lot of activity. So I am really optimistic about it. Now, over here, these two, they're doing great. Two more different hives I've never seen to have come from that first hive I showed you, the yellow hive. I got both of these splits at the same time off of it. The violet or purple one on the left over there, that was a walk away. We took a full size brood box, put a bunch of frames of honey and brood in it, and a queen cell out of that yellow hive up there. At the very first of spring, they were trying to swarm, so we just split that. Man, she took off, and I mean, it's rocking. Now the green one beside it, I bought the queen for that one and put that queen in there at the first of spring, And excuse me, that blame little tree limb hit me on the shoulder. Thought I was fixing to get stung. But anyway, they're so different. Even the propolis is different in each hive. But that green hive, the glue that they use to glue the frames together and the tops and the boxes together is the brightest color orange you've ever seen. And the honey out of that hive had sort of an amber color. The honey out of that purple one was really light colored, and the yellow one, now this was the late season honey, the second harvest. That one, the yellow one up there had a really dark brownish almost color, and each one of them's got a different taste. But that's my bees, and I'm not going to mess with them anymore this year except to put top feeders and ventilation on the tops of all the boxes to try and keep moisture from building up in there. Those two hives there, they've got a bottom box full of brood. The middle box, that's another deep hive body, has got tons of honey in it and some brood. And the top two honey supers have got excuse me, have got they're 90% full of honey. So I've got no real worries about these guys making it through winter as well. One thing, if you'll notice, I've took the queen excluders off. And I didn't know this first year. I didn't find out till late November that if I was going to leave a honey super on there for the bees to eat, you better take that queen excluder off, or they'll go up there to eat, and that excluder will keep the queen out, and she'll get away from the cluster and die. And you'll just wind up that next spring with a queenless hive, and they'll be more akin to yellow jackets as honeybees, is how they'll act until you get them requeened. So anyway, guys, that's just that's my little bee update. Hope everybody's doing well. We're getting things back together here. Things are smoothing out and getting back to the norm. So maybe I can be putting up some more videos. Like I say, next spring we're going to have honey for sale. Depending on how things go, I'm planning on splitting the heck out of all these big strong hives here, buying more queens, and putting some hives down at the farm. So that farm down there is growed up with honeysuckles and briars and privet hedge. I'm going to get into the honey business, folks. I really enjoy messing with these guys. They're a lot of fun. But and I'm going all naturals with it too. Seems like I haven't needed any chemicals to date, so why start? 2 years into it, and I've been able to control problems naturally with natural things like my West bottom boards with oil in them, instead of having to put poison in the hives with hive beetle traps and such as that. I haven't encountered too much problems with mites, but with such strong colonies, I'm thinking they're keeping themselves pretty well clean. We'll know this spring. That's when this stuff starts attacking you. And like I say, we're going to try to keep it 100% chemical free, though. If we can't, I'll let you know. That's one thing I've always been, is honest with you guys. So anyway, appreciate you watching. Y'all take care. Jason, out. Oh yeah, I also got my winter garden planted. I don't know if you can see that well or not, but that's 4 pounds of turnips, 2 pounds of collards, 2 pounds of kale, and 2 pounds of broadleaf mustard. So we're going to have greens up until hard frosts, and I've already found out that just give them a couple of weeks after a good hard frost, and they keep coming back. Even after the snow last year, they come back strong. And that made, when those turnips and all went to bloom, that made some of the sweetest honey I've ever put in my mouth. That was the spring honey for the folks who's got some from me. The stuff that's labeled spring honey, that comes straight off of these turnips and the privet hedge. bloom. Boy, it was light and sweet. I mean, super sweet. So, and we've left this part of the garden sort of natural for these two hives up here. When things finally get cold, I'll bush hog this and plant some more of that wildflower mix, and hopefully that'll take over. I'm going to leave that sort of as a buffer zone. That used to be my tomato and leave the camera alone. My tomato and pepper area, and we're just going to step it over some. You know, I don't need, with my oldest moved out, I don't need as big a garden anymore. With this right here, I'll be able to put back enough food for a year for me and my wife and youngest, and probably sell enough okra and squash and cucumbers to pay for the fertilizer and seed for the next year's garden. So that's the way it's worked out every year since 2004, when I got heavy into gardening. And you know, that's that'll be what we shoot for. Last year was sort of a bummer, but sometimes, you know, glad we had to put back what we had put back. Still hadn't had to buy tomatoes. Been working off what we had canned. So anyway, guys, y'all take it easy. Jason, out.